first became actively involved in the 12th grade when I started the first Black Student Union in Baltimore. I think a fire was lit in me at that point, and when some folks came to Baltimore to say, I can help you get started, I knew that I was on the right path.
I'm Pennsylvanian by birth.
I'm born in Egypt, 1936.
And we were hit by the Depression, and everybody was cut down. My father was cut down by economic forces I was too young to understand, but not too young to be afraid of.
And the issue of my upbringing was Egypt was under British occupation.
And I became very much aware of the plight of the poor and the plight of ordinary working people.
Islam to me at that time, at early age, when I was 15, 14, was a form of liberation.
And I think that was one of the early critical experiences of my life, and it heightened and created a sensitivity, a struggle to survive, and a sense of responsibility for one another.
I think that moral voice is just so important because for two reasons. One, because religion is used to justify war, and religion is used to manipulate people and to separate people, to justify the dehumanization of other people. So it's very important to have that spiritual or religious or ethical voice that says, no, that's not what my religion stands for. That's not what my spiritual teaching stands for.
For me, to be a good Jew was to be concerned with the welfare of all human beings, whoever they were. And the initial issues that we had to deal with were, of course, the issues of racial justice, the injustice that had been perpetrated against the black people.
I really think activism is just part of my life path. And the first conscious memory I have about that was seeing cover of a Life magazine during the Civil Rights Movement. It's a very famous photograph of a protester and a police officer and a police dog, and the dog is right at his gut, and the protester has his arms at his sides, and he doesn't have a look of terror on his face. He just has a look of, well, that was it. At the age I was at that time, I didn't know how to describe that look. I didn't know what it meant, but it's an image that has lingered with me for years, and it wasn't until I became actively involved in nonviolence and the study of nonviolence in the late 90s that I actually went online to research that photograph and learn more, just really see it as a mature adult, and realize that at that very young age I was looking at the essence or the spirit of the work that I wanted to be involved in.
The pursuit of peace is something that lay at the very center of the Jewish aspiration. And I saw that that was the common aspiration, initially of Jews and Christians, but ultimately we would come to see our unity with people of all faiths.
Interfaith to me was really a process of completion. Father Regas and Rabbi Leonard Berman are my soulmates, really. They are my twin brothers, both spiritually and intellectually. And our getting together was, I consider it, I see the hands of God in weaving such a bundle together to become more effective.
Organizing a crossface is particularly important because, again, faith is used to separate us. And so I think it's a very powerful image, and it's a very powerful voice when you see individuals and people with positions of authority within their spiritual communities stand together. It was incredibly powerful when the first wave of Islamophobia rose up in the U.S. And ICUJP went to one of the mosques here in Los Angeles on Lemont Avenue, and we just physically surrounded that mosque as an interfaith body. That was an important action.
People of goodwill felt that this is not the America we want. And they stood very firmly with us, protecting our mosques and giving us a forum to speak, and I will always appreciate that.
Religion has to be political. Has to be political because politics has to do with the decisions that we make about how we live and how we die, and who shall live and who shall die and who shall experience justice and equity in the workplace and so forth. I mean, that's where those decisions are made, and that's where religion has to be. And that doesn't mean necessarily partisan politics or voting for particular individuals, but it does mean that we're concerned about the profound ethical issues that lie at the heart of so many of the decisions that will determine how we're going to live as a society.
Whether it is the Muslim community or whether it's undocumented immigrants or whether it is African American young men or whether it is those inmates in solitary in state penitentiaries. That's why interfaith is important, because we stand for that shared common humanity as sons and daughters of the Most High.